This audio is for educational purposes only. I hope this will add light to your journey. Please share this audio to your loved ones, family and friends. Thank you.
Persuade and Get Laid by Ross Jeffries. Welcome. For most men, the quest for satisfaction, fulfillment, and success with women is a fantasy, a frustration, or a gamble. This book will teach you principles and practices that will enable you to make satisfaction, choice, fulfillment, and pleasure with the women you truly desire a reality, something you wake up to every day and go to bed to every evening. I've been teaching this system you are about to learn, speed seduction, to thousands of men for the past 15 years. These are guys who come from every walk of life, every corner of the globe, and from every possible combination of looks, age, financial, and social status you could possibly think of. Now, I don't know where you are with women. Maybe you are just coming out of a relationship, perhaps even a marriage, or you are someone who occasionally has girlfriends, but you haven't found a way to consistently and predictably enjoy the success with women, or you always have some girl around, but haven't been able to reach for the quality of woman you've always wanted. Or you could be one of those guys who comprise about 15% of my students, who already does extremely well. Hell, maybe you could teach me a thing or two, but you are always looking for that cutting edge. Wherever you may be, this book contains some powerful answers for you, and that's very good news. But I feel obliged to tell you the bad news as well. And here it is. If you are not a guy with looks, money, power, fame, connections, or status, the dating game is stacked against you, and you are in for a lifetime of struggle, lack, compromise, and relationships by default. Listen, if you've ever felt like the dating game is rigged for you to fail, you are pretty much correct. For most men, dating is a form of gambling and ritualized begging for a woman's company, favor, and poontang. Just think about how you've been socialized by popular culture, movies, TV, music, books, to behave when it comes to women. Not just your actions, mind you, but how you think about the subject has been programmed. Maybe I'll get lucky. I think I'll ask her out. When will I make my move? I wonder if she likes me. How much should I spend? Notice that all of these thought patterns, and the behaviors centered on them, require you to be the pursuer, who may or may not get what he wants. And notice also that they require that you come from a place of lack and doubt. Now, that is the obvious problem. The more subtle challenge is how this kind of thinking gets you to focus on behaviors. What should you do? What do you want her to do? But, in fact, the key to success with women is to focus on emotions. What feeling states do you want her to be in that would be most natural for her to do the behaviors you want her to do? And how can you create those emotions without having to engage in any of the traditional chasing, spending, pursuing, begging, bullshitting, boozing, and buying that the dating game requires from you? Let me explain this a bit more. One of the biggest mistakes made by men is that they overfocus on the behaviors they want women to do with them, or to them. How can you get her to sleep with you? How can you get her to blow you, do threesomes, God forbid, if you are a fool, marry you? This way of thinking is so ingrained in us as men that almost all of our thinking about women just involves variations on this theme. But the problem is, it just isn't efficient. Instead, it is far more powerful to ask, what emotional states would this woman have to be in, where it would be natural for her to give me all of those behaviors I want? How can I help her experience the lust, passion, connection, desire where she would be eager to do all of these things without having to go out on dates, spend money, and act like a beggar, or a bully. Very, very few men think this way about women, and the culture around you has got you heavily programmed not to think this way. How many movies, books, TV shows, or songs tell you that you don't have to spend money, don't have to be a beggar, don't have to be the one pursuing, and don't have to be an a-hole either, to enjoy all the satisfaction and fulfillment with women you could ever dream of. Speed seduction will teach you how to reliably, powerfully, easily, and consistently produce, evoke, bring forth from women the powerful, positive, intense emotional states they crave feeling, and to associate and attach those feelings to you. You'll be able to do it without formal dating, without guesswork, without gambling, without spending more than $5 on a cup of coffee. My current girlfriend is a smoking hot 19-year-old Swede. I'm a very average 49-year-old guy. I bought her one Guinness Stout when I met her in London, and I spent my last night in bed with her. I don't think that beer cost me even the $5. When you can capture and lead a woman's emotions and imaginations, suddenly you are playing a different kind of game. A game where you write the rules, you deal the cards, where you are calling the shots. I'm sure you'd agree that beats the hell out of what most men have to put up with. Brief overview of speed seduction. The principles, practices and program. Speed seduction isn't just a set of techniques to bring you hot women. It's also a way of thinking about women, and more broadly, about the processes that motivate and direct human emotion, imagination, and then behavior. It is first and foremost a set of principles that tell you what is important to pay attention to, and what you can safely ignore. Some of these principles for creating massive attraction in women, quickly and reliably, no matter what your looks or age are. It's true that speed seduction will provide you with an enormous supply of techniques for massively improving your self-confidence, meeting women anytime, anywhere, rapidly screening them in minutes to eliminate losers and confirm the treasures and gems, and, very rapidly, creating the feelings and emotional states of mind in women that allow them to feel powerfully drawn to you, so you really do take your pick. However, the most important aspect of speed seduction is learning to look in a profoundly different way at women, and how they feel, think, and move their way through their romantic world. Without these key insights and understandings, your toolkit will be of only so much use. With these understandings and insights, your toolkit will empower to live a love life that seems like fantasy and magic to those who neither understand the principles nor possess the tools. So, let's start with a key understanding. Key understanding number 1. There is no such thing as love, attraction, chemistry, desire, fascination, or any of the other labels society commonly uses to describe and explain the dance of attraction between men and women. What society commonly labels as things are, in reality, ongoing processes that can be understood, duplicated, modified, and redirected. Here is a crucial example. Women often speak of having feelings, as in, I don't have those kind of feelings for you, or they speak of chemistry, as in, I really have chemistry with Roger. In these cases, the way women talk about these matters puts them outside of study or control. In essence, the chemistry is just there. She had no part in creating it, nor did he. It just happened, and now, the chemistry is somehow there, driving what happens between she and Roger, without any control or input on her part, or apparently his. In the case of having feelings again, the feelings are spoken of not as some changing, ongoing process in which she is intimately involved in creating. Instead, they are spoken of almost like a material possession. I have a 2003 Mazda, or I have 2 cats, Sloppy and Dopey. This thingifying of what are actually ongoing subjective processes that the woman is creating. Although she is probably not aware of it, she's probably so unaware that to her, it really does feel like something that is just happening to her, or some fact or thing over which she has no participation or control. Helps to mystify the entire process of how men and women can attract each other, and how men and women create these intense emotional states for and in themselves, usually unconsciously, by thinking about this area of life in these terms. No matter what thinking you do within those terms, you are limiting yourself to believing 1. These things, like chemistry, attraction, desire, just happen to women. There is nothing we can do to create them, since they just happen, without structure, function, or form. 2. Whatever first answers women may give us, or themselves, in this area of life, must remain the only answers, since these matters are not subject to investigation, influence, or change. Stick to mystification, guesswork, and trying harder, because this stuff just can't be explained. Instead, you will learn how to look for processes, to ask, what does she do inside, with her internal imagery, her internal dialogue, the flow of feelings in her body. Create these various emotional experiences and states of mind. Key understanding number 2, state of mind, is more important than behavior. The dating game teaches men to be very goal and action oriented. Where do I ask her out? When do I ask her out? When do I make my move? How can I get Jane to blow me? Now, of course, we do want actions and behaviors from women, and we certainly want to do actions and behaviors with women. However, what happens is that we get so overfocused on these action fantasies. Oh my God, imagine what Betty looks like upside down and naked, and planning our game steps, that we leave out a key ingredient, her state of mind. It is far more useful to ask, what state of mind, with what emotions, do I want Betty to be in? So, it is far more likely in those states that she'll willingly give me those behaviors, and more too. Key understanding number 3, one of the major, maximally powerful ways to create these powerful emotional states of mind in women, to capture and lead their imagination and emotions, is how we, as men, use our language. Basically, women respond to imaginative and emotionally loaded language far more powerfully than do men. So, what you can get women talking about, and how you can redirect and use their answers, is a key to opening her most deeply powerful flows of emotion. Strongly, 4. Driving emotional loops of thinking, where, for example, she fantasizes going down on you, while you are sitting there, chatting with her over coffee, seemingly having an innocent conversation. Much of what you will read in what follows involves the use of speed seduction language patterns, and they are carefully crafted and designed to evoke these emotional states, bring them to the surface of a woman's consciousness, and then to be linked to you in what are actually surprisingly easy and mutually enjoyable ways. These patterns can be longer, memorized language constructs, for example, where you describe what it is like to deeply connect with another person, or ask her what it is like for her when she feels such a connection. Or, they can be much shorter questions, quizzes, and fun little games and demos that require her to do most of the talking. Ideally, you will use both kinds of patterns, those that require her to do most of the talking, and those where you incorporate and feedback her answers. Or, you will use those that require you to talk a lot at first, in order to awaken her imagination and get her talking. In any event, the key here is language, and learning to look for the subjective emotional processes that drive a woman's world of inner fantasy, hidden desires, driving wants and needs. Key understanding number 4, in addition to learning to think in terms of processes and emotional states, as ongoing and creatable at will. Learning to control the vibe you project around women is 50% of winning this game. It's true, language is incredibly powerful. Learning to think and perceive women in terms of their subjective emotional states and processes is very powerful, and also, it is important to realize that women are creatures of vibe. Consider your vibe to be like a conductive medium in an electric circuit. Let's say you want to send 100 volts of current down two conductive mediums. One is a sheet of gold foil, the other is a sheet of cardboard. Which one is likely to conduct the electricity, and which one is likely to do nothing? Even without any training, you know the answer. The gold is our champion conductor. In the same way, your vibe, the energy you project, your beliefs about yourself, and what is possible for you in your world with women, this will act as the conductive medium across which your words will flow. At least 1/3 to 1/2 of the speed seduction training is therefore devoted to teaching you to rapidly create and maintain the best, most possible, most effectively usable vibe in the real world with women while you are working at perfecting your skills. I want to really hit home on this point. It is pointless to try to create a vibe of mastery while you are trying out new skills. It just doesn't work, can't be maintained without a tremendous output and investment of mental energy. And, more to the point, it isn't required. Too many guys are trying to get absolute certainty and absolute perfection before they try anything new with women. So, of course, they wind up never trying and never getting any perfection or certainty. Speed seduction will teach you to powerfully create an effective combination of vibes that makes you very attractive before you gain mastery of the other skill sets. To be sure, mastery of the skills improves the vibe, but we have solved that problem of giving guys working, effective, informed enthusiasm, and intelligent motivation and confidence as they are going up the learning curve. Key understanding number 5, the emotional states and flows of feeling women experience around you. The speed seducer are not being created by you, or temporarily being invented, or imposed by you. They are already there, either running beneath the surface, or ready to be run. So, you are not imposing anything, but bringing to the surface what is there. What you are about to take on will create powerful, even seemingly shocking emotional responses from women. But actually, it will not create anything. You are merely skillfully bringing to the surface what is already running all along. And women want to experience these flows of feeling and emotion. They crave these emotional states. By assisting her in experiencing them with you, you are giving women a rare gift, for few men know how to truly perceive, experience, and feel a woman's subjective inner world as she does. And the man who can do this, while at the same time staying a man and setting a firm lead, will be able to write his own ticket as he gives these gifts. You are about to become an incredible gift giver to women, even if, at first, the gift is given without much style or skill. A gift it begins, and a gift it always remains. Peace, peace, and good luck. Ross Jeffries, founder, Speed Seduction.